Next video. I miss quarantine, or why I miss quarantine. I fucking don't miss quarantine. That's terrible.
March 11th, 2020. What happened that day changed the world forever. It was my mom's birthday. And also, there was kind of this whole disease that shut down the world. I kind of miss it. One thing that I've noticed...
Bro, I do not miss COVID, and I do not miss when motherfuckers talk about COVID, dude. Not COVID in the sense of, like, this video and how quarantine was, but when I was at my graduation and the speaker gets on the mic and goes, we all went through 2020 graduation. We didn't get to see our senior year of high school. And now we sit here today being able to walk in our graduation and act. And I'm like, bro, like, I just immediately tune that shit out because they talk about it too much. There's like a point where you mentioning that we went through COVID is just annoying and sappy rather than like facts, right? Like, I get it, but at the same time, it's been said 50 fucking times, right? We all went through quarantine. It sucked.
When a lot of people talk about 2020, they try to make it seem like it was a bad year. When in reality, yeah, it fucking sucked. Let's be real, okay? But I'm willing to bet that there's one thing you miss about quarantine.
Playing video games nonstop, and not paying attention in class. That was the shit of 2020. That was the best part when you could pull up to an online class, turn your camera off, zone out, and fucking sit on your phone. And then when you were done, you had like way less work, and you would just fucking game or watch shows. That was it. But then conversely, you just couldn't go anywhere. Like, everything was closed. You couldn't get a fucking haircut. The only thing that was open was like a grocery store and the fucking doctor's office.
Whether it be not going to school, staying inside all day, or getting that stimulus check and then blowing that stimulus check on.
But I never got a stimulus check. That shit. Did any of y'all get a stimulus? I was too young. That's what I didn't get though, because I didn't get a stimulus check, but I had a job. And some of my friends got a stimulus check. I should be bitching to them. You were too young? Yeah, I feel like most people are too young. They didn't give me one. I was 18, though. I was 18, I had a job. But they didn't give me a stimulus check, which was weird. I feel like did you have to apply? Maybe I just didn't apply. I got a stimulus check and unemployment. I didn't get unemployment because when I quit at GNC, I technically was making money on TikTok, but it was like a little bit, but I was still employed. But no, I didn't get a stimulus check either.
2020 had a lot to offer. So just in case you forgot what happened, or someone wants to watch this video in 20 years, let's go through the timeline of quarantine. At the start of 2020, everything seemed great. It was the beginning of a new decade, and although there was some talks about a new virus coming in from China, we weren't worried. After all, it was
Dude, I don't even remember when in 2020 did y'all hear about COVID first? Late February, like 3 weeks before they shut shit down, like right before. Like, I never heard about that shit in January. I heard about it in 2019. I didn't, bro. Maybe on the news like one time. Maybe on the news they mentioned the virus. And I was like, yeah, bro, that shit's in China. That's not coming over here. I had that thought. I do remember that. I remember in December of 2019, I did see it on the news. It was like CNBC or MSNBC. And they were like news reporting. They were like, yeah, somebody has a virus in China. I was like, oh, really? COVID. And then I talked to my boss at GNC and they were like, yeah, did you hear about this COVID thing? And that was like second week of March. And I was like, nah, it's probably like not even gonna be a big deal though. And she was like, I heard somebody had it, but I'm not worried about it. And I was like, maybe I hope we get off. I remember saying, I remember they were talking about quarantining. And I said to my boss, I hope they shut everything down. Cause I didn't want to work. I was like, I hope they shut shit down and then I could just do nothing. And then they did. And then I quit. And then I just did nothing for like a year. More than that. Probably a year and a half. When did quarantine like end? You jinxed it? Yeah, I'm the reason COVID started. No. Dude, I feel like early 2022 for New Jersey. I remember we went back to school, but right before I started dating Brooke, in October of 2021. I remember that whole first semester I had to wear masks in class. Do y'all remember that? I had to wear masks. Dude, that was so long ago. I had to wear masks in class, and we had to sit like farther apart than normal. And then it was the next semester we still did it again, but it was like they were lighter about it. And then the semester after that, it was like, do whatever you want.
And 2020 was my graduation year. Ever since I was
oh my God, here we go. Yeah, same brother. Here we go. But seriously, 2020 was a scary year for all of us. We had to go through COVID, and none of us got to do senior prom or walk the stage when we graduated. But here we are now. Seriously, you guys. Here we are now, and we're walking down, and we're experiencing it for the first time. I just want to start punching my fucking head, dude, when I hear that shit. So, stop it! Yo, chat, when was the last... And I never got COVID. I never got COVID until... When was it? Chat, when did I get COVID? I posted about it. Somebody would know. I think it was last summer. I got COVID. It was either last summer or the summer before that. I got COVID randomly. Nobody was talking about COVID. I got COVID in 2023. I was like, the fuck? I got COVID in the summer. I was like, why do I have this? I was like, there's no shot I have COVID right now. I think I'm just sick. And then I took like 4 COVID tests, and they all came up positive. I was like, shit, man. And I had to sit at home for a week. Dude, and I remember what was even scarier is you couldn't go anywhere in 2020, but 2021, I went to Jamaica, and they told us that if you got COVID, you would be quarantined in a room for 2 weeks, and you wouldn't be able to leave your room. You would just have to sit in your room, and they would bring you food. I would be like, dude, that's horrible. I was sitting there sweating when they gave us COVID tests before we left. That shit was fucking horrifying.
We were required to wear face masks inside until spring break happened, which is when the country fucking shut down. The class of 2020 has a running joke that we're still...
Dude, there were people that, like, in my town that I knew, and it would be like a dad. And he was like, COVID's nothing. I'm not getting vaccinated. Got COVID and died. Like, I knew like 4 people that happened to. Where, like, yeah, the death rate of COVID is so low, but they were like lifelong fucking cigarette smokers and had terrible lungs. And they were just like, yeah, COVID's nothing. And then they got it and died.
The class of 2020 has a running joke that we're still on spring break. And I think
somebody said I'm 21. I still feel like I'm 17, 18. It's weird. I felt like that when I was like right out of COVID. I think right out of COVID, like 2020, early 2021, I just felt like I was still like a high schooler, dude, because it felt weird. Because I just sat at home. I did nothing for a year, right? Like 2020 is like a blip in my memory and most people's memories because you had no meaningful experiences. You just fucking sat there and did nothing. And now I feel 22. Like I'm 22 now, I feel 22. I felt 21, I felt 20. I didn't really feel 18 or 19 because all of the time I was 18, I just sat at my house. And then half of the time I was 19, I just sat at my house. And I just did nothing. I just sat there and took classes and slept.
I think it's pretty funny, but also kind of sad that I never returned to my high school after that. In fact, I couldn't even graduate there. We had to graduate on a football field. The world is in complete chaos. All of the sports leagues have just announced that they're suspending their seasons. The stock market had its biggest drop in history, and the virus is spreading fast. By this point, over 10,000 people have already died from COVID, and over 500,000 people have it. The country with the most infected people is, of course, the United States. Towards the end of March, the US government will pass a bill that will allow people to get a stimulus check. This is when people start to go a little insane. People
just started wasting those stimmies though, dude. I remember that too. Motherfucker would get a stimulus check for like $2,000 and just blow it on I remember people would blow it gambling. Like I had friends that would get a stimulus check and then fucking gamble with the money. And I was like, dude, you're using government money to fucking gamble right now. Like, that is nuts.
Go outside and do what they want, and murder hornets are about to invade the US. Now, during this phase, people still...
Dude, but I remember, like, did people here experience COVID? Like, the Midwest? Like, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado, Idaho, Montana? Did people here, who here did people get COVID here? Yeah, but I bet it wasn't as bad. Just because there was no one here.
They're spending most of their time on social media or watching the TV or something. Around this time is when I, as well as a lot of people, discovered streaming. It was a fun...
Dude, that's when I started streaming. August of 2020, bro. August of 2020. That was the first Joe Bart Fall Guys stream. I remember that shit.
One hobby, you got to play video games live in front of people, and if you were lucky, maybe you could earn a little money. COVID cases were starting to slow down, the NBA resumed its season in what they call the bubble, and things were kinda looking up, until the largest fire in California history started. And guess what? School's about to start. Yeah, this year fucking sucked. Now at this point, COVID has not slowed down. More people are getting infected and more people
That was the worst year. 2020 fall to spring 21 was the worst year ever. That shit sucked ass. And then the year after that was like mid.
Instead of going in a classroom and learning in front of a teacher, students were required to meet in Zoom meetings. Basically just an online classroom. This is when people realized that Zoom has loopholes. In the real life classroom, you're expected to be on your best behavior and always pay attention. But in Zoom, you don't even have to have your mic or camera on. Now
Nah, all my teachers had it mandatory in college, bro. And I would be just sitting in class like this. Just in a hoodie, muted. They'd ask if we had questions, and I'd be like a fucking mannequin, dude. He would ask a question to the class of like 50 people, and I'd just be like, anybody know? Anybody here? Oh, I guess I'm alone. And then the guy starts talking. I would always answer then. If the teacher asked a question twice and nobody responded, I would. Because I couldn't bear the awkwardness. Top 5 awkward moments in life when you had a COVID Zoom class and the teacher would ask a question and nobody would respond for like 5 minutes. Everyone had their cameras on and just everybody was muted. Just sitting there, dude. Just unbearable awkwardness. It was horrible.
Teachers would require that these were turned on, but even then, some people just resorted
I put a video of me blinking and moved on the Zoom camera so I didn't have to be there. Wait, so you recorded like a loop of you and then just fucking sat there and left?
Saying they don't own one, or that their internet was too bad. This, partnered with the rise of the video game Fall Guys, led to what many believe is the golden era of quarantine. It's about a time where many of us were finding positivity and fun in a world—
Oh my god, the Among Us. Okay, that was a fire 2 weeks. Out of the shit that quarantine was, the 2 weeks of discovering Fall Guys and Among Us was like the shit. When you had all your friends and you would play Among Us, bro, in like 10-person lobbies, that was fire. That was fire. I miss those days.
It was scary for everyone. The virus was growing like crazy and it was deadly. But not just that, jobs were also very unstable. To include my 35-year-old demographic, most of their jobs probably went online as well. And if you are seeing this in 20 years, you might be thinking, wow, that sounds awesome. But the lack of human interaction did get to you. But I want to get back to the golden era because, like I said, there was some fun in this. I did mention Fall Guys, and it probably was one of the 3 games that saved quarantine, at least for me. But honestly, as soon as it blew up, it died because another game took over, and that is Among Us. See, while Fall Guys consisted of a bunch of mini games that you could play online with—
But the Fall Guy, what's weird is Fall Guys was smaller when Among Us came out, but Fall Guys is more popular than Among Us now because Among Us is so fucking repetitive. Fall Guys was such an L. Well, you're gonna be in for a bad fucking ride, buddy, because I guarantee you I'm gonna be playing Fall Guys this fucking summer. It's a Fall Guys fucking summer. I hope you know that. Among Us was much more engaging. It was almost like a murder mystery, where you have imposters and crewmates on a spaceship, and everyone tries to guess who the imposters are. Dude, I just remember I would play Fall Guys with like 10 of my friends, and I would gut vote out one of my friends every time to the point that he didn't want to play the game anymore. And it was so sad, because every time I would gut vote him out, I would insta vote him out, like before, like the second the game started, I would call a meeting. And I would be like, bro, I think it's him. And they'd be like, all right, word, we'll vote him out. We vote him out, and it was. And he would get mad as hell. He'd be like, fuck you guys. And we'd be like, well, we were right. And he was like, well, you didn't know it was me. Every time, it'd be like, we wouldn't vote him out every single game. But it'd be like once every other game we would vote him out. And every time we did, it would be him. And yeah, it was really fun, but what this game really did was help blow up streaming even more. 2020 was Twitch's biggest year. Respectfully, we've been watching this 8-minute video for 24 minutes. Yeah, and it's going to be another 24 minutes. By far. Millions of people were watching streams every day. This wasn't like when Ninja streamed Fortnite with Drake and broke the internet one time. Twitch was setting record after record, and it's really because no one had anything to do. We couldn't really— Dude, Twitch really did benefit from COVID. Do you think Twitch would be where it is without quarantine? Honestly, no. I feel like half of the streamers that exist now wouldn't exist. because they started streaming during that time or blew up during that time. Like, I wouldn't be big here. If COVID, okay, I was doing social media in 2019. I started TikTok in November of 2019 when I was 17 years old. I didn't stream until I knew that my college classes got canceled in person. If they didn't, I probably wouldn't have streamed and I would have lived on campus. Then I probably wouldn't have started dating Brooke. My whole life would have been different. I wouldn't be a streamer. I wouldn't be a YouTuber. I hate thinking about that shit, bro. It stresses me out. It stresses me out. It's like fun to think about, but it's also fucking creepy, dude. Like, you are not even just my life. Like, all of y'all's lives. Think about how different, or like the relationships you've had with people. I'm not saying like dating. I'm saying like friends too, or just like what you did job wise. Like, my whole life would be entirely different than it is right now.
Interact with our friends in real life, so why not play games with them? Why not watch someone else play games? Better
Bro said he was in 4th grade during COVID.
yet, why not finish that backlog of TV shows or movies you wanted to watch? Do you see the problem here? People are staying indoors, watching TV, and playing games. They're not exercising, they're not getting sun, and they're not even eating healthy food. This led to what a lot of people call the COVID-15, meaning the 15, or sometimes more, pounds you would gain from quarantine. During this time, I was attending college online, and it was pretty depressing. All those movies.
Yeah, dude. I remember. But I don't think it was COVID that made me do this. When I started making money on social media, the one thing I started doing was buying fast food. Holy shit, dude. I went from eating fast food once a month to eating fast food 3 times a week, 4 times a week. I would just go to McDonald's, like, every day. Like, I would go to McDonald's or Wendy's or KFC or fucking Popeyes. I'd be like, I would just be like, yeah, let me go. It'd be the fun thing to do. Just go get some fucking not PF Chang's. What is it called? Panda Express or some shit.
All this hype built around it, only for me to stream to 3 people on Twitch and be bored out of my mind. Things got a little more exciting for me after the holidays when 2021 came. Even though the lockdown was happening, I decided, fuck this, I'm moving into college. Now, because this whole situation was kind of screwed up, I did get paired with my roommate the semester before, when we were supposed to move in, but everyone went online. So it kind of gave me and my roommate a chance to bond before we even met in person. So yeah, while moving into college, I did have a friend. Things were still bad on the outside. Walking on a college campus in the middle of lockdown is creepy as hell. Other than my roommate, there were some days where I literally saw no one. Even the Chick-fil-A in the library was closed. There were times I thought to myself, wow, I'm really paying 10 grand to be here. But I don't regret it. I got to live alone. I met a lot of cool people. It would also be the last time classes would be online for me, which means the last time I would get straight A's. Yeah, if you can't tell, I'm not really a school person, which is why during this period I was grinding. Not my degree, but learning the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, maybe not the brightest idea.
Let's say $5 million? Let's say
the YouTube algorithm.
That says $5 billion.
For them. Yeah, maybe not the brightest idea, but hey, it worked out, right? When the semester ended, me and my roommate left unsatisfied. I can't speak for him, but personally, I was
he didn't make $5 billion off YouTube. It had 5 million views.
Thinking, wow, this was the college experience I was hyped up about. What the fuck? You were expecting 21 Jump Street? No, I got fucking Harry Potter. Without the magic, and without the people. There's no Quidditch either. This shit sucks. There is some good news in this though. I still haven't gotten COVID, and the COVID cases are going down. To the viewers watching in the distant future, this is what the people in the summer of 2021 were thinking. I mean, cases are going down really fast. It's the summer. What's really
It will be weird to explain COVID to, like, our kids. In, like, 20 years, when you have kids, and you're like, yeah, the world shut down for, like, a year. Like, no one did anything for a year.
The worst
They just sat at home.
Trip to the beach can do. After all, everyone's outside. There's no way I get oh god.
I ain't having kids. Oh, so you're gonna let the family lineage die with you? Respectable. No, I'm not judging you. I always do find it weird though how people nonchalantly say they're never gonna have kids. Cause like you exist because for billions of years, billions with a B, people, your ancestors before you had kids to the point where they weren't even human, right? Like non-human animals that haven't even evolved yet lived long enough to have a kid, which came to you, right? And then you're just like, and I'm going to end that fucking line. I respect that. Honestly. You know, I'm not even judging it. I can't because that would freak me out. I have to continue the line. But for the people that are like, I've existed because billions of years people existed before me and I'm just gonna fucking cut that shit short. Good shit.
That's a spike. Seemingly overnight, the cases jump back up. How did this happen? The vaccine's out? Yeah, bro, the virus mutated. Someone is literally playing Plague Inc. against us. And now I think it's a good time to say, where are the movies? Where are the video games? 2021 might actually be the worst year ever for media. The top 2 best-selling video games were 2 Call of Duty games. The top-
Squid Games? Squid Games? 2021 worst year for media? Squid Games? End of 2021?
Top grossing movie of 2021 was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Squid Games was 2021? Yeah. That's how long ago that shit was. Squid Games was almost 3 years ago. September of 2021. Squid Games came out.
Which was a great movie, but that's
Squid Game sucks, don't lie. That show was fire.
not the problem. The problem is that it came out December 17th and still won. In defense of this, people can't go to the theaters, so why make a great movie? People can't even get their hands on a PS5 or graphics cards in general, so why even make a great game? Among Us and Fall Guys are dead. The Animal Crossing craze is dying out, and people are contemplating why they spent $300 on a Nintendo Switch to play a single game. After some time, we finally—
Bro, I watched Squid Games with Brooke. I watched, like, the first 2 episodes with her in, like, I feel like it was, like, November. Like, we didn't watch it off rip. And then I watched the rest of the show without her. Because I don't think she enjoyed it that much. But it was a very good show, in my opinion. A lot of people are saying Squid Games was ass. No, it was good. Bro, I've been dating Brooke for so long. Holy shit. I've been dating her for not almost 3 years. 3 years in 4 months.
After everything that happened, after all the wild events that occurred, after the lifestyle changes, the stimulus checks, and those annoying fucking masks, it was finally over. Thank God. Right? I mean, this was objectively one of the worst years humanity will ever see. So why? Why do we miss it? There actually is an answer, so see if you can figure it out. Hint number 1, it does have to do with staying indoors all day and being shelled up in your room. Hint number 2, it does involve wearing your mask everywhere you go. And hint number 3, yes, it does—
I remember being at the gym and having to wear a mask. That was fucking horrible. That was like sitting in a sauna, dude. Trying to fucking rep squats out where you're fucking sitting there with a mask on. That shit was terrible.
Involve Among Us. Any idea at all what these have?
It's hot outside and you just got a fat ass mask on in like late or like early 2021, like the summer of 21.
Common? If you guessed that they're different, then you would be correct.
That was the worst year ever. Summer of 21 was fucking horrible.
2020, a study was done to see if students who studied in different locations or students who only studied in their dorms would do better on a test. And the students who studied in different locations, of course, won. Humans just need change. Yes, quarantine sucked, but it was different. Lots of good ideas came from it, like the fact simple video games can be fun, and how working and learning from home can have its upsides. To the people watching this in 20 years, just keep this in mind. You may have survived, but you definitely missed out.
Definitely missed out. Yeah, missed out on some shit, but I will say, like, I don't know. Like, are there positives to COVID? Yeah, but I think there's also just a fucking shitload of negatives. All right, hold up. I gotta pee real quick, and I'm gonna hop into that.